Hi Cancer, welcome to your weekly love reading. Let's see what's going on for you this week in terms of love. You have she loves. Drop into your heart. Across the waters. Riding the cosmic wave. Okay, so I feel this is a strong message to say that divine masculine may be feeling a little bit rejected, or they may be feeling fearful that divine feminine does not love them as much as they love you. This is a clear indication that divine feminine loves divine masculine extremely deeply, okay, beyond anything in this human language could ever describe. Drop into your heart. There's a message. So this could be that you're feeling as the viewer that your person's rejecting you, or you feel for them. Your person doesn't love you as much as you love them. So take it however it resonates. There's a message from Spirit here. Drop back into your heart. Your heart knows the truth. And there may be a distancing right now. Maybe they're in their head a lot and you're in your head a lot, because this is part of the divine plan. This is going to happen many times throughout your connection to really help you get out of your own way. And that means the dissolving of the mind, or the overthinking or thought patterns, anything that takes you away from the reality of this deep love that is mutual. Okay, drop back into your heart. If you're feeling overly stressed, overly worried, concerned, if you're feeling worried because you opened your heart, and then you're feeling that, or you're interpreting like the other person as rejecting you, it's not. It's like such an intense connection. It's really calling you both to open your hearts like never before, okay? And that is very important. Spirit's really emphasizing that you're opening your hearts like never before. And why is that happening? Because this is such an intense love, like you've neither of you have ever felt that before to this level, okay? I'm hearing from Spirit that you know in your heart, you know intuitively, that this love is so intense, this love is so real. And they're getting you to observe yourselves and be mindful of yourselves. Anytime you're feeling pain, anytime you're fearing rejection, is it because you've come out of your heart space? Is it because you've come back to your mind and a bit too much? And you know, that is normal. We're conditioned to live our lives through our thoughts. This is a connection that's really initiating or deepening this ability to live your life through the heart space, through your soul truth, okay? So there's going to be times of a lot of turbulence as you flip-flop back and forth between head and heart. But Spirit is saying, you've both been in your heads a bit too much lately. But again, don't blame yourselves. Natural stage. But really think back over the past few days, or the past few weeks, or however long you've been plagued by your thoughts. Think back during those times. I'm hearing that you both experienced times of bliss, times, little moments or glimpses of bliss and reassurance, and like a deep sigh of relief. And every time you reach that point, or you had that glimpse of relief, it's because you were able to quieten the mind for a moment and drop back into your heart, drop back into your intuition, and your heart and intuition told you the truth of the situation, and that is that you are loved. and that there's nothing to fear. But the mind's been incessant. This magnetism towards the mind has been very strong lately. There's a sense of feeling that there's a distance between you both, but it's just when you're both in your minds, or one person may have strayed into the mind a bit more than previously, and so it feels like they've emotionally distanced themselves, or energetically you feel like there's this distance, and that's because they're going into their autonomous place, they're going into that alone space because of lots of fears of abandonment and rejection coming up. This connection, this love, this light, Spirit is saying the love is so powerful between you and this person, that it's that light, it's that love. The light is shining on the shadow side, it's illuminating the shadow side, so it's bringing it up into your thoughts temporarily, so it can then turn into the light, it can turn it back into love. The love transmutes it, okay? So it's natural that there's going to be times when you feel the other person going into themselves. That's because they're trying to make sense of something, or that's because they're trying to find a place of security or comfort or healing. They're trying to feel held by the divine in those moments where a lot of doubt is coming up. But it's a natural part of the cycle. Across the waters, this reminds me of the Six of Swords, which is moving from one island to the other, or moving out of the choppy waters into the calmer waters, okay? So you go through the stormy waters, that's normal, and then this process is actually helping you to become this totally different consciousness, a higher consciousness, where the feelings are stormy waters and everything that makes you feel all over the place, and then you seek the sanctuary. That's where you go inwards and try to protect yourselves. You may create barriers around yourself in that moment. You're trying to find stability in a time when you feel all over the place. So because a lot of fears and insecurity may be coming up within your connection, you feel like you can't, the only way to find that sense of stability is to go inwards and withdraw for a while, okay? And in some cases it can be like one person does that, they go inwards, and then it can cause the other person to feel all over the place and grab a hold of the other person for that sense of security, okay? So it could feel like a runner-chaser thing, but it isn't runner-chaser, because that implies one person doesn't feel the same for the other, and the person that feels like they're unloved is chasing after the love of the other person. That's an illusion, that's not true. There's no such thing as runner chaser in truth. In this divine love, it's seeking security, and when you feel very insecure within the connection, you can no longer feel like you're going to get that security and safety from the connection. You go inwards, you retreat, because you're trying to find that within yourself, within God. And this is a very, very natural part of this cycle of opening your heart more, because it really, really massively takes you out of your comfort zone. It's like the light, this love, it like shines a bright light on you. You feel naked, you feel vulnerable, so it's natural. Don't feel like the person is running away from you because they're like, nah, I don't love you. You know in your heart that you are loved. Excuse my throat. The love is so intense that it makes the fears equally as intense, and therefore the illusions equally as dense, okay? We can't see through these massive illusions. The fears are very strong. This person doesn't love me, I'm making a fool out of myself, I've exposed my true deep self too much, and now I feel humiliated, okay? This goes on a lot within these divine connections, but it's just the intensity of the wounds within that are coming up, and that creates this powerful story. And whatever we think about on a consistent basis, our subconscious believes that's real. And so we have these stories, these wounds where we say the other person doesn't love me as much as I love them. And so the wounds, it feels so real, it feels so painful. And then we become more and more convinced that it's real, that it's not safe to expose our feelings, our heart, and open up and be our true expression of the love we feel, because then we feel like we're going to make a fool out of ourselves. So this is happening on a very deep subconscious level within both of you, okay? So this could be you're feeling the other person is retreating into that place of comfort. They're trying to self-soothe, is what I'm hearing. Or it could be you that's needing that, or it could be both. You're both, for some of you, you're both at this place where you're self-soothing. For some of you, you're shifting out of that, you're moving across the waters, but don't try and force that. Don't try and grab a hold of the other person and bring them out their comfort zone. I'm hearing from Spirit, if you look back at your previous relationships, this would have been a cycle in all of your relationships in certain ways. Someone trying to pull the other person out of their comfort zone. One person, it could have been you trying to do that and you feel rejected. This is happening on an intense level within this connection, but Spirit is saying there's intense love here as well. So there's an opportunity for intense understanding, compassion and intimacy. I'm hearing from Spirit as well, because you have such an intimate bond, such a powerful love, then the scary polarity of that is going to be triggered massively. Your fears are going to be directly in proportion to the amount of love you feel. So if you're really fearful, if you're feeling really afraid of this unrequited love, it's indicating just how much true love there really is beneath that fear. Because that amount of deep love triggers that amount of stuff that needs healing, releasing, dissolving. But try and be in a place of in the flow and acceptance right now. Don't try and force this person to open up to you. Don't push them away. Just be, in your connection. There's going to be times where you need to be strong and stable within yourself. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes both of you are kind of energetically all over the place, and that's fine as well. We can't always be in control, and don't beat yourself up if you're feeling all over the place and you feel like it's negatively affecting the other. It's not negatively affecting them. It's it's maybe triggering them, but it's not a negative thing. It's a pushing out through experiencing the blocks, the wounds, the fears, the conditioned stories, so you can expand more. But there's this need, if you can, don't put yourself under too much pressure, but if possible, try and be compassionate and remain open to the amount that you can, and just be this calming, embracing, loving mature person within the connection. But again, if you're really struggling with that, that's okay as well. There will, like I said, be times where you're both chaotic and you're feeling the other person's chaotic, it triggers the other and then they're feeling it, and it's like a vicious cycle. But you won't stay in that forever, if you can consciously try and drop back into your heart and the heart space and the intimacy, and trust that the person will come back as long as they feel safe, okay? Because oftentimes, if you're feeling triggered about something, then your energy isn't like this safe energy for them to feel like they can align with. They're feeling all like the boat being rocked energetically as a response to your energy, and so they're feeling like that person's all over the place emotionally. And maybe it's because they're unsure of the connection, and so it doesn't feel safe. if we take it too personally, what we're picking up energetically, and so that can make the other person then withdraw, and you're both withdrawn, like with these worries. And so what can be helpful, and it may be that you need to go through many cycles of this before you learn to trust that, oh, it's just a cycle, and then it always comes back to the truth of the love. But yeah, it may take a while for you to trust in that, to be able to drop back into your heart and be the stillness, be that open, receptive energy for when that person is ready in their own time to feel more secure in themselves, and you reconnect energetically in that harmonious way. Try and be that, okay? Riding the cosmic wave. So I feel like this is what I was talking about, like there will be waves, there will be bumps in the road. This connection, I'm hearing from Spirit, is meant to rock the boat, okay? Because we grow from a place of adversity. If everything was bliss all the time, if everything was comfort, the comfort zone, then you wouldn't grow, you wouldn't expand, it would stay in that same energy. And I'm also hearing, on this earth existence, we need shadow in order to really appreciate the light. So for some of you, you may have been in this total bliss state with this person for quite a long time, and it was absolutely amazing, but then it was like your soul was getting a bit restless because your soul was wanting more expansion. So then it's like, bam, something happened that created like a huge wave, or a roller coaster of emotions. And because it was time, I'm hearing it was time for the next stage of massive growth, and that led to a huge rocking in the boat energetically. For some of you, it could have been something happened externally that then created the rocking of that boat in a major way. But you and your person, you're going to ride these cosmic waves. You're going to ride the storm, weather the storm, but it's about dropping back into the heart in order to ride the waves more easily, okay? Because if we're totally unconscious when this happens, if we're so much in the mind that we're totally like feeling like we're on the verge of a complete shipwreck kind of thing, we can get caught up in that. You see that a lot in the twin flame community. I'm not criticizing that, I'm talking from personal experience in the past as well. Like you can get caught up in that absolute roller coaster and looking for the other person for stability, looking for their acceptance, looking for their love, looking for their approval. But because you're feeling so insecure within yourself, you're not trusting, you're not having faith, you haven't dropped into your heart, you got stuck in the mind and all the scurrying thoughts and fears. And if you get stuck in that, then it creates a really turbulent connection, okay? Because you're stuck in fear and not having faith, and then you're sort of coming towards the other person with that really chaotic, fearful energy, and the other person, they pick up on that because you're mirrors, or you're one and the same, and so then they are all over the place. And it's drop back into the heart, drop back into faith, drop back into peace. The very least, if you do that, you'll find clarity, okay? And at the best situation when you drop into your heart is you can easily, or not easily, I mean slowly but surely transition back into calmer waters within yourself, and then it will have a knock-on effect on the other as well, okay? So there's this need to try, if you can, be strong, be stable, but as the waves are calming a bit, there still might be a few that, you still might have your days or your moments where you're like, and your mind comes back in and really creates a massive fear again. But if you try to be mindful and fall into the heart and Don't pressure yourself either to try and be a specific way because you're worried about triggering the other person. Do what you can do for yourself. This is a time, I'm hearing from Spirit, of self-care, self-love, self-soothing. Maybe by trying to find stability through going inwards, and really that going inwards is connecting with the divine or connecting with God or whatever you want to call it, connecting with your soul family. That's what's happening here, okay? So let's look at some tarot cards, and then we'll look again at some other oracle cards. What do you need to know about this connection, about your connection right now? What messages does Spirit have for you? Page of Pentacles. So I look at this and I feel a very grounded energy. It's the earth element. And this is, to me, this is about autonomy as well. Like this person is here on their own temporarily, and it's like, it looks like dawn. I mean, it looks like dusk is approaching, or it's night time. And I feel this is growth. I just feel this really healing, earthly energy. It's like you and this person, you're becoming more grounded again, more stable again. And this is like this seed. Pentacles always remind me of seeds. It's like a seed that you may right now be in the soil. You're in the darkness. You may not understand what's going on a mental kind of level. It's a time of being born more. You're being held by the divine. In the higher realms, it's like your souls are in, I always see it as like a healing sanctuary. It's just above this earth's atmosphere. And the divine, your soul family, is really working on you both as individuals. And to know yourselves more deeply, to integrate these changes, these transformations, as you're becoming more conscious. It seems ironic, it's that paradox. It's like the more you become conscious, the more you're then triggered in order to initiate you into a deeper level of consciousness. And when you're in that place of so much fears, that is why you need this alone time, because the love is so deep and profound that you both have for each other. It's one and the same. The love is that oneness. Because it's so profound, that is why you're needing alone time at times, because that is when you're like really grasping at God, or you're grasping for your soul family, for that comfort, for that reassurance, for that safety, to be held during that time, this time of massive transition, okay? So that is why you may feel like, you may be feeling like your person's pulling away. It's not because they don't love you, they're pulling away, they need that time alone with the divine, okay? That personal relationship with Spirit. They need that right now, and you need that right now, to feel that this is where you're finding that stability again, that safety, to then be rejuvenated, have your faith restored, a deeper level of confidence on this path within yourself. Your self-esteem is being raised right now in this higher dimensional healing sanctuary by Spirit. They're giving you the reassurance, the love, the guidance. They're giving you a time of rest, because it's like your mind has been ravaged by this connection. The love eats ego and the mind for breakfast, kind of thing. So allow your person this time that is needed for them to really feel that safety from spirit, okay, and allow yourself that time if you need it. Okay, this is like when people pray to God or pray to spirit or pray to the angels. It's like that personal alone time where they're seeking comfort, they're seeking answers, they're seeking security or clarity for the path ahead, they're seeking rejuvenation, you know, that hope, that faith is what gives people the power to carry on, okay? So I'm hearing this is very important time where that is happening for you and your person, so that you are then ready to shine bright again, okay? This is just a bit of a burnout, and again it's that natural cycle that happens, but then you continue. It helps you, I'm hearing, it helps you both over time have that faith come more quickly, more easily, okay? Because especially if this is quite a new connection, then the fears can be intense, and initially there's a lot of fears that separation, abandonment and all things like that can happen. But as time goes on and you raise in consciousness through this connection and through your personal relationship with God or spirit, you have the veil of illusion, it falls away more and more and more, and you know that there's this unity consciousness, there's this oneness. You realize you're always in union with this person, and it's the love, so there's no need to doubt or fear so much, and then the fear dissipates. You expand more to allow in more realization of the truth of this love and this union that's always here, okay? Five of Pentacles. This is a card of feeling left out in the cold. It's a card of wounds. Okay. But this is not the reality, this is the mind. The mind distracts us from, it cuts us off, because the mind is the illusions. It's the separation belief systems that a lot of this 3D earth plane is based upon, the idea of separation. But look, this is really saying you are not cut off from the divine, okay? When you're too much in your mind, you're cut off from your connection with the divine, or you're not cut off from it, you just can't see it. It's clouded by thoughts or overthinking and fears. It's like clouds that mean you can't see that the divine is here. This is like your heart space. This is also saying that you both, there's just no words to describe how profound, how profoundly you love and embrace this connection. It's a love that's on an endless, it's on endless like layers of your being. And that is why fears of abandonment and rejection from that are so intense at times. Because it's like God, this connection is like the love of God. You love each other as God loves you, okay? Not meaning to sound like some sort of preacher here or anything, but the way you love each other is that deep unconditional love. It connects you so much to God or source or divine, the universe. It's one, and the same with that, and that is why it's so profound, that the fear that the mind creates, that you could be separated from all of that, not just your person's love, but the feeling separated from the divine, and life going back to normal and being drab and dreary and boring and unfulfilling. That's not going to happen. The mind is what makes you feel disconnected, but they're right next to this church here, or cathedral, the divine, dropping into the heart space, okay? You are welcome. Anyone's welcome in a church, right? So you are welcome by the divine. If you choose to drop back into your heart, that is where you're connected to the divine, and you see beyond the illusions of separation. But sometimes it's hard to see, hard to realize that. But that falling into unconsciousness is going to become less and less as time goes on. Okay, so let's look at some more oracle cards. These are the oracle of the 7 energies. What do you need to know from Spirit about your connection right now? The rose's kiss. Okay, so the rose is seen as one of the most sacred, amazing, it's one of the most loved flowers. It's seen as like the queen of the flowers. Thank you so much for joining me here. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Bye.